Hi, mentoring champions. I'm Max. Welcome to MentorCliq's Mentoring Soundbites, where we answer some of the most common and important questions professionals just like you ask about starting, managing, and growing their mentoring programs. In this video, mentoring program leaders from several international organizations offer strategic advice for structuring, managing, and growing reverse mentoring programs. We hope you find this video helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe for more mentoring best practices like these.
The term reverse comes from flipping the paradigm of traditional mentoring, where the actual junior level employees are mentoring the more senior people in our organization. And we don't have strict confines for how junior you have to be, but we started with our mentees. We approached our SVPs and above. And that went all the way up to our executive committee, and we had several of our EC members actually sign up right from the get-go, which I was very proud to see.
One of the newest programs we just launched, it's not an onboarding program, but it's an open program. And we invited everyone as a mentor and a mentee, and it's competency-based. So like skilled at having crucial conversations, things like that. And so what we have seen from that is a lot of organic reverse mentoring, right? Senior leaders selecting someone who is maybe not in a leadership position, but really skilled at project management. So it's grown kind of organically. It's been really exciting.
The reason why the 2-to-1 ratio came into this mentoring dynamic is that with the mentors being more junior and just kind of the content and personal nature to these confidential conversations, we really wanted to give both the mentors the forum to give diverse perspectives and also make sure that they were comfortable going into potentially talking to one of the most senior people in the organization about very personal matters. So we were very mindful in pairing mentors with their mentee, because it's the LGBTQ plus community, right? So we wanted to make sure we were representing that entire community as best we could within each pairing. So there was a lot of thought that went into the 2-to-1 ratio, and then even just the mentors themselves, how they got selected.
When we thought about what we needed to tackle first and where we could make the biggest impact, we specifically spoke about targeting our executives. And I'll say that that's where the most prep work went into, was how do we prepare executives for these vulnerable conversations and to be open to this opportunity for growth. Leveraging our CFO's experience as a previous mentee, she had a lot of knowledge to share on how to make sure that this was set up for success with our executives. And then I also relied on our inclusion and diversity team. They were wonderful to talk through, to discuss how we could best approach this and make sure we're aligned with their overall strategy. But bringing in both allies, the inclusion and diversity team, as well as leveraging external resources, we were really able to pull together what we thought was a good foundation to launch a pilot program.
We've seen a lot of reverse mentoring take place, so much so that we're actually in the process of looking into, we've done one buddy program already, but it's where you get partnered up just with anyone who shares the same interest as you. And you just talk and see, how does your work go? How does your personal life go? And it's more of just that connection networking point, in which we've seen that our upper level leadership has actually learned a lot, because they're like, wow, I didn't know this about what we're doing. And it's people in the same department or even different departments that are like, I didn't know that this process was so intricate. Maybe we can apply it to our world. And it's created a lot of interesting discussions.
One of the first things we tell our mentors when entering into their first meetup is feel comfortable to share your story, whatever your story may be. And that's a really great way to kick off this kind of personal experience, but also trust within the partnership and the dynamic that we have established here. And with that, we had to lay some ground rules, and we had to, go through, how do you have mindful conversations? You want to assume positive intent, you want to embrace the power of humility, you want to just demonstrate that you're there to understand and empathize with someone else, and that there's also the protection that that this dynamic is confidential and it's outside of work, even though it's through Vertex. So and how I think about psychological safety with entering into these partnerships is really just embracing discomfort and working through all of those items that might give people pause, but knowing that we trained and we talked about this with all the mentors leading into it, because it is daunting, right? Like telling a senior leader like your life struggles is not the easiest thing to go about. But I think one of the things that really helps with how we set up just operationally the program is you can't be within the same functional line as your mentee.
When we did the training with our mentors, a lot of that did revolve around working with their executive mentee, both from a point of view of how do you engage in these vulnerable conversations, as I mentioned, and also simply just reinforcing that they are here for a reason. They were selected for a reason. Their mentees are voluntarily joining the program because they want to hear from them and they want to learn from them, and showing them that we also trusted in them, and so they should really trust in themselves. I think that went really far. We specifically spoke about imposter syndrome and how all of us deal with it and how even executives deal with it. But this was an opportunity for them to kind of face some of those fears head on.
Moving forward, it's really given us the tools to kind of track people's comfort levels, but now we have metric tracking and we know where people entered, and we have actual surveys that people are completing, whether they weren't completing it for me when I was sending them out via email. It added such a layer of structure and organization that takes a huge burden off the administrator, that it's allowed us to go outside of Boston. So our pilot was completely Boston centric, and we're now in San Diego, we're going international to the UK. And when I started the program, that was obviously my dream, but it felt so far away. Thankfully, through using the MentorCliq platform, I really see us being able to expand and grow it, because these workplace issues touch every office, every place that we want Vertexians feeling comfortable, and we want to be growing and cultivating our leadership in all of our ex-Boston sites. So with this program, it just makes it so much easier.
I would say ultimately the success is a little more qualitative. I'm an engineer, I like data and things, and of course you all provide those satisfaction surveys and things which show that folks are very happy with the program. But I meet one-on-one with every program participant once every 4 months. And as part of my conversation with them, I ask them about their networking relationships and their mentoring relationships. So it's those conversations that I'm having. It ends up being about anywhere from 2 to 4 a week, where I'm getting real-time feedback on how those relationships are going, how they're being built, what they're getting out of them. And it's that kind of feedback that allows us to gauge on if we're being successful here or there.
We were a little bit ahead of the Excel spreadsheets, but not by much. We were using a different platform that provided some of that basic, essentially people could log in and say, I'm available to be a mentor mentee. But what we found was that people weren't actually connecting. And so last year there were 180 pairs. This year we were able to facilitate 1,800 pairs. So we've seen in 1 year with MentorCliq how much it's grown. And this year we also took our first steps at our first inclusion and diversity focused mentorship program, the Reverse Diverse Mentoring Program. And when we launched it, we knew that our goal for this program was to connect executive leaders with more junior employees of diverse backgrounds who could mentor them on topics of cultural and strategic relevance.
How do you see reverse mentoring fitting into your organization's DEI strategy? Let us know in the comments below. Reverse mentoring programs can help your organization flip the script on who is seen as knowledge bearers. It can also serve as a key DEI strategy that puts younger, diverse talent in important visible engagements with senior leaders. These types of mentoring relationships can be difficult for everyone involved, so make sure you structure the programs and train participants for success. Need to know more? Check out the articles linked in the video description for additional insights on reverse mentoring programs. For more mentoring tips, visit us at MentorCliq.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get updated on mentoring best practices like these.